What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Just Breathe, the podcast for Black moms and mom adjacent women by Black moms and mom adjacent women. And today we are here talking to one of my very dear friends, talking about one of my favorite subjects. Her name is Dr. Angela Swain, and we're talking about mommy burnout. Welcome, girl.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
So first and foremost, introduce yourself. Tell people who you are.
Yes, so my name is Dr. Angela Swain. I'm an organizational psychologist, psychotherapist, and master certified coach.
In other words, y'all, she's real smart.
No.
She is real smart, and she know what you're talking about. So I'm going to give you some stats.
Okay.
Because we want to talk about today just looking at exhaustion and just burnout and like what that means. The Pew Research Center says that Black moms are more likely to be primary or sole providers, both financially and emotionally in their households, even if a spouse is present. Essence Wellness Survey says that 60% of women report feeling chronically exhausted due to caretaking demands, job stress, and societal expectations. And last but not least, and again, this is the one that like really I was like, oh, all right, for the people in the back. Burnout isn't just stress.
Right.
It's chronic depletion, like gone, of emotional, physical, and mental energy.
Yes. Yeah, I think emotional burnout is, just like you said, it's just total depletion. So, and it's not just one experience of, oh my God, I did something and I'm tired. It is a compounded effect. So it might be, I have to deal with the kids and my job, and I have to deal with my in-laws and my parents. You know, we're often in that sandwich generation, so everything's compounded. And so it's not like it happens once every other year, but it's things that you are juggling, multiple things all at the same time when you don't get rest and you never restored.
Ooh. So if I'm never restored, and these are
restored.
things that I have to do,
Yes.
where does that leave us? Like psychologically, like physically, like what is happening to us?
We are, as it says, burned out. So I have the image in my head of, say, a candle. And when you first start out doing all the things that you want to do, you're lit, literally, and you're like glowing. And then when you are burned out, there's literally just fumes. And often you'll hear moms, especially Black moms, state that they feel as though they are running
on fumes.
Right? And so if you have this candle, the light's there, and then it burns out, their fumes, well, all of a sudden it's dark.
Oof.
And we feel like hopeless. And so I would use the analogy for emotional and physical burnout as being in the dark, because you don't have any hope. There's nobody rescuing you. There's no sense of a future. There's no sense of a bright light at the end of that proverbial tunnel.
My God. Well, then thank you for coming. That's the end. That just took me out.
Yeah.
So all of us have some sense of, if you're married or not, like you said, and you have children, or you are a caretaker, whether it be for a parent or whether it be for children or nieces or nephews, how can you tell the difference between, hey, this is just a little stressful, and like you said, I am chronically depleted? Like, how can you tell the difference? Is there a line that we should be looking for?
Yeah, I think you have to know your boundaries. And that is not really something that we talk about a lot in the Black community, particularly with women. If we do talk about it, it's a bad word.
Oof.
And so when I know what I want, and when I know how much I can take, how much I can tolerate, how much I enjoy, when I feel this sort of sense of an ick, like then it'll sit right with me. That's a boundary. Boundaries aren't deep. It's just when you feel that moment. And when you feel that moment repeatedly, and you find yourself waking up in the morning in dread, that's burnout.
Oh, so let's run back boundaries.
Sure.
Because I feel like that is something that is like super important for us to talk about. And we need to do a whole episode on boundaries. But can you just share a little bit about how does a mother who is depleted, or at that point of just waking up with that ick, like you said, what is like the first step, or like what are the strategies that we can use to begin to even set boundaries when all of these things are things that we have to do?
Right. So I think one of the first things is honesty with yourself. And there's a sense of self-awareness that comes with that. And it's not about, oh, but I have to, right? Because sometimes we jump straight to the, what do we do? How do we change it? Well, first we have to sit with the fact that it is. And there are not a lot of spaces, which is why I love this platform for Black Momish and what you're doing in Black Momish and your entire team, because we don't have spaces to talk about this in a healthy way where it's not judgmental.
Yeah.
For first, you have to recognize and understand that something is. And it's not a shame to it, and it's not a judgment to it. It just is.
Yeah.
And once you understand that it just is, then that opens up hope. And that opens up a feeling of relief that comes. And then the second thing I think that's important to do is to seek help, right? Whether that's a therapist, whether that's a social worker, whether that's a friend, whether that's somebody. But you have to learn your community and find resources to help support you in this. Yeah. And it's not a sign of weakness. I think one of the things, and I know you and I have talked about this extensively, is this syndrome where black moms can do it all.
Yeah.
Black women can do it all. And so there's often a shame that comes with, oh, wait, I need help. I'm not enjoying this. No, I'm not.
Yes. And that's okay.
And I don't have to enjoy this. I don't know that our moms and our grandparents actually enjoyed it. They took it on because they had to, and they worked with what they had, but I don't know if they did it because they enjoyed it. And I think there's this farce or this false sense in that narrative that we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Or our ancestors enjoyed it. No, they didn't. They did what they had to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you talking some stuff today. Because not everybody who has children enjoys it.
No.
It's not a, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a given that, hey, you have this baby, and with this baby package comes enjoyment.
No, mine did not.
No, neither did mine.
Right.
But where do you find a safe space? I remember the first time I said out loud when my son was born that I don't like him. And it wasn't that I didn't love him. It was just my son has special needs.
Yes.
My daughter was a lot easier. I had never had a son. I was over there scratching my head like, how do you do this? From changing diapers to just the incessant crying. And I remember the first time I shared it with my hairstylist, who happened to be a really good friend of mine. She was like, how is it? Oh, he's so cute. And I was like, can I tell you something? She was like, yes, I don't like him. Mm-hmm. And she was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, I can say that out loud?
Right.
What?
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And I think one of the things that's important is like, what narrative are you telling yourself, and what model are you trying to live out or embody? So I'm going to give you an example. I know for me, I got married in 2000, and so I always talk about this 90s Christianity, right? And it was this thing like, oh my God, people are coming back to church, and they're like breastfeeding, and they're this, and they're glowing. Girl, I tried to breastfeed my oldest, and it was like, his eyes were like, like he was getting ready to drown or something. It was horrible. And so, but I had this expectation in my head that I had to be like another mom because they were enjoying it. And I think one of the things, and that's when postpartum depression was just starting to be discussed and just starting to be learned about. I remember a woman who died by suicide, like shortly after I had my oldest, and that was on Oprah. I mean, it was everywhere. It was like, what? This is a thing? Yeah, it's a thing. There's a chemical imbalance that happens. And so I think in addition to societal pressures, in addition to what we feel like our parents did and our grandparents did, there's a chemical imbalance that can happen that we don't discuss even now.
See, and most people think it's just, oh, she's just tired. All new mothers go through it. You'll be okay. And you're like, actually, no, I'm depleted. Like literally, chemically there's nothing, something is wrong.
Something is going on.
So why do you think it's so different for Black moms?
Oh, because I think we're trying to live in a system was never set up by us. Right? So we might try to fit a model of, and I mean, I don't know if you ever get a Disney as your sponsor, but I'm not a fan of Disney movies, right? I'm more of a fan of like Moana and things like that. But, I'm at an age where my models were not like that.
Yeah.
So I had to have the prince or the this or the this. And that's not a model that was set up by us.
It's true.
That's not a model. I did hear when I was young in my marriage that Black men wanted to be able to, quote unquote, provide for their wives and their children this, even if they didn't do it in real life, they had the image of they went out to work and their wives stayed home because that's what the white boys did, right? Again, that's not an image that was set up by us. That's an image that we're trying to adopt because we think that's the right thing to do. We think that's what should be expected of our spouses or our partners. No, that's not it at all.
Yeah, that's unrealistic.
And so then we agree to a false reality, and then we should or blame ourselves or judge ourselves when we don't fit into that narrative.
And then we end up depleted. Emotionally, physically.
And we don't ask our partners for that extra assistance.
Yeah.
All the time. And there's another thing, especially when like addiction is at play.
Yeah.
When there's and I'm a what do you call that word? I'm a codependent, right?
Mm-hmm.
I call myself a recovering codependent.
Recovering, there we go.
Yeah, recovering. And so you always go by the other people are your thermostat and you're the thermometer. So say if we're in a relationship, a partnership, and you're like, oh, babe, I got to go to work tomorrow. So you'll just have the kid. But I'm experiencing some serious psychotic things, breakdown, because I'm burned out, right? And then I say, oh, well, because you're a strong Black male for the community, then I have to adjust.
The thermometer. So you got to be the thermometer.
Right. Because we, as Black women in particular, and I love the Black male. I married a Black male. I have 3 Black male children. Love the Black male. Support them all day long. But I think as Black women and Black moms in particular, we forget that we're the center.
Yes. Oh, you said something there.
We are the center.
That's true. But you know what? I wonder if, and you can answer this, like, do you think because we didn't see that necessarily growing up, that generational trauma or that generational, like, hey girl, you just got to do it? Do you think that played a role in why we don't stand up and say, actually, no, you can take off work. I cannot adjust my schedule, or I need a mental break because I am depleted.
Right.
Maybe you can take off work today.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. And I think too, as Black women, we've learned that we almost just feel like we can do it ourselves. If I have to deal with you, partner, and you just whether you're in a heterosexual relationship or not, if I have to deal with a partner that doesn't necessarily feel that way, by the time I convince you, it can be done.
That's true. I found myself several times being like, by the time I explain this for the 30th time, I'll just make the doctor's appointment. I will just take off work. I'll just go ahead and take the kids to the doctor because I'm tired of having the same conversation over and over again.
So it's not necessarily that we're like, oh yeah, we can do it. But it's like, oh, well, I may as well. I can see why our ancestors just did it.
Yeah.
I may as well just do it.
Out of frustration. And then that's how we end up compiling.
And we just do it all. And then we do the parent-teacher conferences. And then we do the homework. And then we do the this. And then we do the this. And by the time your partner says, oh, well, we're like, I got it.
Already done. Yeah. Or you just are so frustrated. And then we find ourselves in the hospital.
Exactly.
Because we have nothing left.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about where, if at all, in your opinion, where does guilt play a role?
Oh, guilt's in the whole thing because it's shame.
Oh, tell us.
I think shame is a default for Black women. We don't look like other people. We don't act like other people. We're not gifted like other people. But instead of us being like, oh my God, we're at the center, other people know we're at the center. Other people imitate us, but we don't know that. We know that for the Jay-Z's and the Beyoncé's and the Rihanna's and all of that, but we don't look at that from like, oh, Miss Green who owns this store over here, she's at that level in her game. We don't look at it like that.
We just look at the outliers.
We look at the outliers.
My goodness.
And oftentimes that's based on finances, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we live in a capitalistic society. So we look at the Jay-Z's and Beyoncé's. No diss, they're doing their thing. But we don't always look at those who are be at that level that's not necessarily dictated by finances.
Yeah.
It could be dictated by you all have dinner every night together.
Oh. And that's not something that you would consider being at any level. That's just regular. We just ate dinner together.
Right. Right. It's amazing to me, and I see this often in my practice, that men get so many passes because we feel that they are fragile.
Yeah.
Well, he is stressed, and he is. He is worn out by the white man, and he is. And we are in a relationship together where we support each other. So instead of adopting some other person's or society's pressure of what that looks like for us, knowing what you want so that you and that covenant partner or that partner are at the center of how you live your life. And that is not a one-fits-all narrative.
No, not at all.
But we don't know that.
And we definitely don't act that way.
And we don't adopt it.
I can remember when we first moved out of town, and I didn't have a job because he was way more money than me. I was a teacher. So I was like, well, I'll just have to give up my job again. I'll just give up my job and he'll just transfer us. And I remember us being like, okay, now we just went from a 2-income house to a 1-income house. And I remember being like, oh, well, he's going to work. I'll figure it out. I'll worry about the finances. I will worry about the budget. He doesn't need the stress and he doesn't need the. And I was like, why am I here going crazy?
Right.
This is a 2-parent household. We need to figure out how we're going to pay the bills and how we're going to. And I remember him coming home from work. And I was like, man, he has such a long drive. And just like you said, it was just, I felt like I had to own the stress. Because, he's doing this. Instead of being like, hey, we have to own this stress because
How are we going to
do it? And I remember one day sitting down, looking at our finances and being like, all right, so.
Right.
What do we need to get rid of? Because we are over budget by $1,000. So what are we going to do to figure this out? And I remember being so nervous about having that conversation because I felt like since I'm at home, I have to take it on. But I was at home with an autistic 2-year-old.
Yeah.
All day.
All day.
All day. From the time he got up to the time he went to bed. And I had to figure out how to navigate my daughter, who was in middle school, leaving her family, leaving her friends to move to another state. So I was carrying her emotional load. Figuring out a new city for myself, had no friends. It was just us. And I was like, oh, well, he's going to work. So I can't dare ask him.
Right. No,
what?
yeah. Right.
So by the time he got home, I was done with. Done. And I felt like, well, I'm at home. I can take his stuff to the cleaners and I can. What? Why?
Right. You know, you remind me of, there's this commercial back in the day. And it was for Ginate or something.
Oh, that's real old school.
I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan, and never let you forget you're a man. Like that influences you, right? Like, so things we watched influenced us. Things we saw influenced us. Things we listened to influenced us. And we never set our own script, right? So one thing you asked about strategies, one thing I would do even before selecting a partner, whether that's to have a child or to enter into, a legal situation, is learn how you are how you respond to stress.
Oh,
How does your partner respond to stress? Because to your point, like you have neurodivergent children, as do I. My oldest has OCD. My middle one is on the autism spectrum, and my youngest has ADHD, right? And they've all battled with anxiety and depression. So that's stressful.
indeed.
That's stressful. And so then when we excuse our, and as a recovering codependent, as I've learned this, if I'm excusing my partner from the responsibility of stepping up, and I'm excusing, or I'm trying to take on kind of rescuing my children because I don't want them to be in pain, right? Then I'm clipping my kids' wings.
Yeah.
Because they have to learn how to handle this, right? So even understand. So one, the self-awareness of like, hey, hold on, this is an ick. This is not working for me.
Yeah.
Right. Two, who are the people around you who you can say, hey, I'm going to teach you or get you resources on how to address this thing. Right. Isaiah, you were diagnosed with autism. Okay, let's find some resources for you, and you learn how to navigate this, because I'm not going to be here all the time. Right. And Ange, you don't need to find joy in rescuing everybody. That's not your job. That's not your mission
At all.
That's not it.
Not at all.
You were not just put on this earth to rescue your children. You were here to train them,
Yes.
not to rescue them.
And who's rescuing you? So if you busy running around rescuing everybody else and passing out life jackets,
Right. Right.
then you turn around like, well, guess
I'm walking around the street with no pants on. I mean, you're just looking crazy. Right.
I guess there's none left for me.
Right.
None at all.
Yeah.
Jeez. So let's talk about reclaiming your peace. So if you said you're a recovering codependent.
Yeah.
So at what point, if I am depleted, got nothing left, I'm running on fumes, which that image will never leave my mind now. If I am running on fumes, how do I ever get back to center? How do I ever get back to a place of I'm recovering from how I used to be, these narratives, these ideas of having to rescue everybody. I'm running around handing out life jackets, running around with no pants on. Like, how do I stop the tape from playing?
Yeah. I think for me, it was an admission that it wasn't reclaiming peace at all, because I was never at peace. So there was nothing to reclaim. Right? I had to decide that this is not working.
Yeah.
And I don't need to feel shame or judgment because this is not working. And I also think the fact that I was, my mom was a single parent, talking about the generational trauma, I think that had a lot to do with it, because I felt like when I was growing up, shame was my default.
Oof.
Right? Because in the 70s, nobody was really a single mom, at least not publicly, it wasn't as big of a thing. And so my default was always shame. And because I had these expectations of how I was supposed to be as a mom and a wife of somebody who was a prominent figure in the community, it was like, oh, this should be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
This should be easy. No. And it was really a point for me where I had to recognize that I'm the prize. And that was hard for me.
Y'all hear that? And am.
Yeah. And not that my spouse isn't important, not that my kids are important. My father-in-law used to always tell me, in the 20 plus years that my spouse and I were married, he always told me, he said, if you go down, the whole ship goes down. And he said, one day, you all have to take off the masks and show each other what you really think and feel.
My goodness. That's either going to make it or break it. You only got two choices there. That's either going to go real well or it's not. But that's the whole point, right? You're supposed to be with somebody to be a mirror to them and to be able to hold up that mirror and say, no, this is who you really are.
Right.
This is how you're showing up. This is how I'm experiencing you. And if you are a person that is depleting me,
right.
There needs to be a conversation.
Yeah. And so when I say, because I don't know, some of your listeners may not resonate with that I'm the prize. I mean, we do, because we've had many conversations about it. But the sense is that another way to say I am the prize is that I have to be the healthiest version of myself for me first.
Yeah.
And then for my children, right? And so that might mean going to therapy.
Yeah.
I am in therapy. I will forever be in therapy. I told my therapist, never retire because I'm going to be with you for life.
We go together real bad.
We like real bad. We are such an interracial couple. But you know, with that, my kids have been in therapy for many, many years, and because they're neurodivergent students, I am always stressing to them to put them at center.
Yeah.
Right? And what that means is that they are healthy people who put boundaries together, who recognize their different personalities, whatever that personality is.
Yeah.
And even acknowledging if there's some kind of personality disorder, that's a whole other conversation. But recognizing that they are at the center of this life and that they can choose what to say no to.
Yeah. That's it.
And because you say no doesn't make you lazy. I think for Black moms in particular, we're always fighting this narrative that if we don't do something the way that we're supposed to, that we're lazy.
Oh, for sure.
So either we're wild and sexual or we're lazy. And if I say no, partner, I don't want any more children. I'm a Black mom, but my life is not defined by how many kids I have.
That's fast.
And I don't want to have any more children. That doesn't mean I'm lazy. If I don't get up at 2 a.m. with a smile on my face, that doesn't mean I'm lazy.
Because you like to be up at 2.
I am up at early. Yes, I am.
I said, don't let her fool y'all. She be up reading books. Like, tell you what I found out.
So I think we also fight this narrative of being lazy.
Yeah.
And we're not.
That's true. I think I've learned in this season to rest. And in this season, I have learned that it is okay for me to do nothing. And for me, that has been very difficult. I think my body has let me know in the last year, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. And I think when this last set of phantom pain that nobody can figure out, sat across from this doctor and he said, that's stress. Mm-hmm. He was like, don't get another root canal. Do not have another surgery. That is stress.
That is stress, yeah.
He said, your body is letting you know you are at your breaking point.
Yes.
And I was like, and he was able to trace back based on images when it started. He said, this has been going on with you for 10 years. And in my head, I was like, 10 years ago, what was I doing? You're right. So I am learning in this season that, like you said, like, call me what you want.
Yeah.
I am going to sit here. If I would like to sit here and count kernels of popcorn today, I'm going to count kernels of popcorn today.
Right.
And like you said, it doesn't make me lazy because that's how we grew up.
Right.
On Saturdays, you got to get up. You got to be doing something.
Right. Gen X, you
got to get up. On Saturdays, you are not allowed to sleep in. You are not allowed to be doing nothing.
Nope.
My grandma used to tell me, I don't mind. Is the
Right.
devil's workshop.
Right.
Like, where did that come from?
Right. Yeah.
I always got to be thinking about something. Like, where? I always have to be doing something. So I think that contributes to our idea that busyness or taking on or carrying means worth, when in actuality it means burnout. Like, what are we doing?
Right. And I think for Black moms in particular, there's never a sense of choice with us.
Yes.
So if I'm a Black mom and I want 5 kids, I have 5 kids. But if I'm a Black mom and I don't want 5 kids, guess what? I don't. It's okay. It's okay. If I don't want to have them in 5 clubs at age 9, before age 10, recovering codependent, it's okay.
Yes.
Right? But that we don't give each other the sense of choice that I think is so healthy and it's so healthy for us and what we need to help prevent burnout.
I'm so glad you said that choice, because honey, it's a lot of moms in my friend circle that are like, I gotta take my kid here. You gotta be in dance. They gotta be in ballet. They gotta be in the drum major. They gotta be and that. She's like, what your kids doing? I'm like, oh, nothing. And they be looking at me like, And I'm like, for a minute, I was like, am I a horrible mother?
No.
My kids don't do sugar, honey, iced tea. No. Like, my daughter played basketball. Okay, that was it.
Right.
My son wanted to do, he was like, can I play an instrument? I was like, no, I don't think that's for us.
Okay. Right.
Because guess what I'm going to have to do? Take you to band practice. And I don't want to do that.
Right.
So if you would like to join something, ask your father. Right. And I don't feel bad that I don't go to practices. I don't go to... Mom, you're the only mom that's not there. That is unfortunate. And I'm never going to be there. That is not fun to me, and I don't want to go. So I think that is just having choice is so powerful.
Right.
So what's one thing you would say as we prepare to leave the people?
Sure.
What would be one thing that you can just tell, if a mom was sat in front of you right now and she is that running on fumes, what would be one thing that you would just look her in the face and tell her?
I would say that the awareness is the first step in a healthy direction. I would tell her to find your tribe, whether that's with, I would say, multiple people in your tribe. If you don't have a supportive family, Black momish. If you can't find a therapist yet, Black momish. If you don't have a place to go on a Saturday night, Black momish. Black momish is your tribe, because Black momish provides a comprehensive approach to journeying with moms, new moms, older moms, more seasoned moms. Black momish is the place to start. That's what I would tell Black moms.
Man, this has been so just inspirational, not just for me, but I'm sure for everybody out there watching. And I'm going to put her contact information, y'all, below this episode so that you can find her if you would like to talk to her, because I told y'all at the beginning, she's smart. She is smart. She is kind, and she is impotent. Okay. So thank y'all for joining us today for another episode, and we will see y'all next time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.